Okay, you had the chance to see and hear the philosophers on the balcony O2 on the south coast of Crete on a cloudy day, 24 of March 2023, as they finish the breakfast now and watch the endless sea.
In the meanwhile, we're preparing the questions about the history, about Judaism, and even before, and then come back to story about Jesus, who was actually the Messiah for the Jews. We all want to connect that with the modern world in Europe. What happened? What follows? And so on.
Yeah, basically, if you are talking about the past, the history, so-called history, then you have to have a methodological approach. What is your source of knowledge? Now, how do you know about it, what happened?
From the books? From historical books?
Yeah, but what kind? There are many books. There are like chronicles of merchants who travel to Saudi Arabia at the time.
We go to the holy books of Old Testament, New Testament. This is the source of everything.
Well, then they are not historical books. They are religious. They are religious
but
books.
That's historical book as well.
No, religious books.
But there is history in those books written.
But these religious books are not recordings like MP3 player or film video recordings. They are written hundreds of years after this happened now, and noted down by people who wanted, by thinkers who themselves were religious.
You were right about that. They were written hundreds of years ago. The stories about
After.
what happened after.
And mainly they were written about people who were already religious or who wanted to be.
Okay, but I think the
Listen,
10 God commandments, they are
this
not
is-
written later. They're right away got it.
For the young people to understand the meaning of this, is like you fell in love, you go with your Mary for holiday, and then you experience something, and then you write about it, no? And because you are in love with Mary, you forget all the bad things that happen. You remember only the good things because you want to get Mary as your wife. So you write to her, how beautiful, you remember as we were sitting at the shore of the sea and you brought me oranges or whatever, and you forget about the fact that she was angry one evening and said, I can't do this anymore, I will go home. So,
Okay.
people who are emotionally involved in something they describe, they will always change it according to their desire. That means religious people who write the history of their religion will always make it beautiful because they are in love with this story. No?
Emotionally supporting that.
And excluding unpleasant facts and inventing pleasant facts and bending the history. So, religious books and such testimonies of religious people and histories are not a valid source of historical fact. They are indications. They are hints about what happened, but they must be interpreted by a method which is called in linguistics and literary science hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is a science of interpreting. If you get a novel, if you get the story like Lord of the Rings into your hands by Tolkien, you have, if you are a person interested in history, not in fantasy, then you have to interpret it and say, okay, there are some elements of Nordic mythology inside. No? and the Vikings, and so. But it is not a true story. It is a fantasy, and you have interpreted it. The same applies for all religious literature. What is better is to go to chronicles and diaries of people who were passing through the area, who visited it, like the Roman historians, Herodotus and other.
Oh, that's very difficult now, what you're saying.
I mean,
How to find that?
if it would be, this was already found. These documents exist, and people like in the 19th century who first came upon the idea that the religious story is a story. It is not a document.
Wait, talking about the people, for example, the time of Moses.
Yes, and
the books about them.
And there are some documents, yes, there are some documents written in Hebrew, and there are some documents of Arabic merchants who were
Talmud.
traveling like business people. They did not travel for religion, they traveled for business, né? And they put down, I have sold 20 camels to this guy, and this guy invited me for dinner, and we talk about somebody, and this name of the somebody was Joshua or something like that. And then the people who are really interested in history, like science, they go into those lands, and they go to museums, and they go to whatever temples, and they learn 20 years. They learn in the university before they go there. They learn Greek language to read, Latin language to read, and Arabic language to read, and Hebrew language to read. And then they read all the original documents, and then they put them together, okay? And then you have a realistic picture. Then the third source of interpretation of history is archaeology, okay? You go in, there are quite a few films on YouTube about people who decided to go and excavate in Israel and in Palestine and to search for real traces of that time, né? And they find some old whatever pieces of ceramic, and they find some old destroyed documents that are almost rotten, like the Nag Hammadi scrolls. Now, do you know about that? Okay, they found them. A shepherd is going to catch his sheep that has lost the way, and he suddenly opens a cave, and wow, there are some bottles and there is some scrolls inside. He says the police goes to the government sends experts, and they take it out, and then they study it for 50 years before they publish it, no? Because it's so complicated, no? To understand it, no? So this is the way history is then interpreted from many points of view to get at the meaning of really happened. This is science, historical science. Not a completely different world is religion, as it functions in every day. Millions of people believe in Jesus or in Muhammad or in Buddha or in Borobudur Malkabar or whatever. And they don't care about the history. They have no time for it. They must live today, and they want to know decisions. What should I do? Should I cheat my wife or not? Should I steal the tomato of my neighbor? Should I send my children to school which is religious or which is not non-religious? Should I go to war? Okay. Should I be patient when they beat me and I think I am right now? So these people don't care about history. They care about what you say, what is in the holy books. Okay, they read them and they get their clear answers and they act according to it, and they have either a nice life because they are happy, by chance everything functions, or they are frustrated because nothing is so as it is in the book, and then they lose their faith, or they kill themselves because they discover that all a lie, or they go to the other side and say, no, the world is different from the book. I will be the student of Satan because this world is full of war and disease and destruction. So obviously the evil Lord must be the king, so I will serve him because he at least is true, and so on. But this is not science. This is belief, like with your girlfriend. If she writes to you, well, I think we are not good for each other, and so then sometime you will not believe it. You say, no, she was mistaken. I must persuade her, and you send her flowers, and so on. You don't care about reality. You want to have your emotions satisfied. So this is the horizon on which you must decide before you go to a discussion. What do you want? Do you want a religious life full of emotions and nice moments and also bad moments and disappointments? Then you go to the church and you listen to the priest and you talk to the community.
Feel a pity.
Huh?
Feel a pity.
You feel a pity if something does not go as it goes, somebody dies and somebody is ill, then you go and help him and so on. Out of sympathy and pity because you have the same belief. But if you want to so-called scientific facts, we don't say the truth because it is very difficult to the word truth itself is a mistake, logical mistake, because the word truth comes from a discipline like logic or linguistics or mathematics. Truth is not one-sided fact. Truth is a relation fact, a relation, this is better to say, a relation quality. If you ask about something, is it true? Then you take the something and you put it on the horizon of rules, okay? And if it agrees, then you say it is true. Like when I say the sentence, is it raining today on the shore of Atlantis or Crete? It's a sentence, no? It is a sentence. And is this sentence true? Then you would put it on the background of facts. This is not what you see. You see the sea, you see the sky, and it is not raining. Then, obviously, it does not agree. This relation between the sentence and reality is not fulfilled. You say it is not true. No? Okay. So, the same with all questions about truth. In science, if you say oxygen is a molecule that expands when heated to a volume of 50 liters of whatever, some volume, no? You say, is it true? You go to the laboratory, you get pure oxygen by distillation of water, and then you heat it. And you measure how much volume you get, and then you measure it, write it down, and you look at that what was supposed to say, no, it is not true. I get only this number of liters. Okay, so this is truth is a relation fact. You have to have two levels. One is the sentence or a kind of scientific proposal, information of some kind, and you take this information and you put it against a solid background which has already been proved as always true, like mathematics, no? Okay, it's always true, okay. Like measurement, okay. Now, if you talk about religious truth, That's a mistake from the very beginning, because it cannot be put against some background, because the basic metaphysical principles of religion are not measurable. They are ideas, they are maybe fantasies, they are maybe visions, and they are, talking about some other world. And how can you put this reality on the background of some other world? You cannot. So you must talk about probability, what happened, probable, it was maybe, okay, or you can talk about effect. What effect would it have, né? Or did it have? When people believed it was true, what effect did it have? Okay, if we today believe Christianity is true, what effect can it have on your behavior?
Very negative.
Okay,
Nietzsche said. Church.
No.
Church.
You didn't read Nietzsche. You must not say Nietzsche said. You must say correctly, I have heard some sentences.
Hello, I listened to the Twilight of Idols.
Yes, you listen to sentences on MP3. That doesn't mean you
the same when you're reading.
No. You read is stop and think, and for 10 years. Okay.
But okay, that's the same information. It's better quality to read. I understand.
It's
but I tell you what Nietzsche said.
Yeah, what Nietzsche says, what you have heard from a recording that somebody was reading, nah? But you didn't read other works like Human All to Human, when Nietzsche says it is important to believe in something. It is important to have a belief. Okay, is it not strange? Nah? Because he says even if you are the wisest philosopher, even if you are like me, like Nietzsche, and you discover that everything is a fiction, just a story you tell yourself, then you must be wise and go away from it and believe in something. Because otherwise you are going to, be unhappy, and the most important for Nietzsche is you are going to be ill, because the physiology of human body needs a healthy soul, and healthy soul of a human being needs a belief, because we are not animals. That is, animals don't need any beliefs. They just, have the food and procreation. They have procreation when the time comes. The instincts rule them completely. They don't have to have any questions. When the stomach is full, they lie down and sleep. When the stomach is empty, they stand up and eat. If the farmer comes and gets them to be cooked in the pot, well, they cry, they shout, and they make "bah" for 1 minute, and then it's over. No? Okay, that's the life. No, no questions, no, no religion, no problems. No? But the human soul has these questions about meaning all the time. So you have to have some belief. Just if you start training tennis, nah? Well, you must believe as a young boy, like Djokovic did, like Alcaraz, like Federer did. I'm going to be the best, nah? Huh? He must believe it, otherwise he would not do it. Okay, this belief is important. And this is the very difficult situation in people who cannot be modern, Nietzsche would say. Modern people, modern Europeans must walk on this rope between ape and Superman. Very dangerous situation, because they have to be scientific and philosophical and know that it is all a fiction, but at the same time they must believe in something. And then he suggests they believe in what? Art. They create their own religions for every day. They create their own mythologies for every day. You raise your cup to the sun and you say, "Oh, mighty Ra, Otsura Matstao, Hyperion, Perseus."
That's your belief.
Well, it is the belief for 5 minutes, no? I believe it for 5 minutes, no?
You're like a snake. Like this, like this, like this.
And I enjoy it because it is real, no? I see the sun, I see the clouds, I have my cup of cacao and put the sun inside, and then I drink it and I feel like I'm drinking the sun and it makes me healthy, because in a certain sense it is true. If I raise the cup to the sun rays are going to hit it, no? The photons are hitting the hot water inside and they react with this hot water, no?
Do they go through the pot?
Photons don't. They just, because you see, if you see something, that means the photons have hit it and they have shot into your eye. Okay? That's why you see. Because you see, because the photons are hitting your eye. But they go, if it is liquid, they go through. So now you have this fact that you have to believe in something, but it should be as much real as it can be real. The effects of it must be real. If you are a modern European, if you are a free spirit, like Nietzsche once said, né? So I believe in the elements because they are real. The sun is real, the wind is real, the sea and the food and the body is real, and I have a belief that if I absorb as much as of the elements as I can into my body, I'm going to be strong and healthy. This is Nietzsche's belief also, because he was running in the mountains, he was walking alongside the sea, and he was saying, your body is the mighty spirit, is the greatest force you have in your whole personality. The body, the metabolism, the digestion, the breathing, the electromagnetic functions of all the cells determine what you think and what you believe. Okay, that is his conception of decadence. The decadence comes when your metabolism, electromagnetic functions of the cells, breathing, and whatever physiological functions, when they deteriorate, when they go wrong, then you lose life power and you become to think nonsense. I mean, not nonsense, but you become to create different thoughts. Your feelings will be like, if you are ill, you know that, if you are ill, if you have pain, then you think differently, and you feel differently. And you will, his idea is the decadent feelings, the weak feelings of the body, and the melancholic and depressed feeling and pain feeling in the soul give rise to ideologies, to dreams about some other worlds where I shall have no pain, I shall have no sorrow, it will be a paradise, I will be strong and healthy and beautiful, and everything will be forever good.
Let's go back to the topic.
This is the topic.
Don't go far away.
Yeah, I explained to you.
What do you want to say with it?
Methodology, because now if you come with your questions about Allah and Jesus and all how it was, then you did not understand the introduction. The introduction should tell you that you must put your questions in a modern scientific way if you want to talk about it with me, or you should go to a church and pray and don't think scientifically. Okay, what do you want?
So, you were explaining me on the way how to believe or not, how to accept or not, but the thing is, maybe you didn't understand me correctly. What do you know? I was asking, the history, even before Judaism, what was before Judaism, how it's called, what do you know about those things? Not to accept them, how you are informed about them.
Okay, well,
nothing to do with how to believe or how to.
I am
analyze
informed.
that.
I am informed by my studies about 30 years of history and philosophy and literature and art. I know a lot. So
Okay, tell me, how
What?
did Judaism got the name Judaism
how it was named?
by Judaism?
Well, it comes from the land Judah. Okay, it is a historical piece of land where they originally lived, probably, né? And then they had this fate of being
The tribe Judah.
the tribe Judah, and then there was this
Okay, but that's the answer from the tribe Judah, the name Judah. Okay.
it's the land.
Yeah, okay. So, but they are narratives so-called of the Abraham, before Judah, right? So the question is now, if their religion calls by Judaism, how the religion of Abraham was called, because Judah and Judah tribe didn't exist in time of Abraham. That is a very strong question.
Okay.
Abraham was not a Jew, was not a Jew. The name Jew is for Judaism.
This is already a question which cannot be answered in my way, because I don't know if Abraham existed. There are no documents. He didn't write anything, and there is no grave with his name, and there are no merchants.
No documents, of course. There are no documents what he wrote. But there is a story in the Bible about
Yeah,
Abraham.
and these are the fairy tales, like Lord of the Rings, like Bilbo and the Unexpected Journey.
But the other books can be fairy tales as well.
All
Who
books
wrote
are
them?
all books about the time that were written after something happened, and that were written by people who, had an inclination to believe or to disbelieve. Both ways are possible. There were there were certainly Roman philosophers who have described this messias craziness of Palestine. They have
It doesn't
described
matter. Okay, we are not. I'm also not so well informed. Not you informed. Just we are talking now about them, not about us. So the thing is, you're gonna be confused now. We said now, Abraham was not called by Jew or Judaism. His religion was not Judaism, but religion in one God, in what you don't believe. Or it's only fairy tale for you. But the thing is, Judaism started at the time from Judah tribe. Before, it was a mystery how the religion of Abraham was called before Judaism. They will always run away from that subject, and they will always fight. Abraham was a Jew. No, he was not a Jew. He was not called Jew. He was way before Judah tribe, way before Moses.
And we don't know what he was called, and we don't know what he believed. We only have the interpretations of the later Jews who said Abraham was like this.
Okay.
And then we have the interpretations of other religions like Islam, who wants to see Abraham in a different way and says, no, Abraham was like this. And they are of the totally same value. They are both fairy tales.
Okay.
One is Bilbo, and the other is Winnetou and Old Shatterhand.
Okay, Baradur.
Baradur. So you cannot make any conclusions out of that for scientific.
Okay, but I cannot. Then it's not possible to ask you about these things because you are not well informed about these things.
No.
From another side, you don't interest yourself about this, and you will never ask me about these things. You don't care about these things, So
because your information is Quran.
Quran in the Bible also. I'm informed from the Bible.
And from the beginning, I have told you that these books are fairy tales.
It doesn't matter. Fairy tales or not, they exist.
Okay, so you can talk about it, but I'm not going to listen because it is not science.
That's for time wasting for you.
But you must realize how the scientific and philosophic thought is built. Why should I spend time if I buy a piece of meat, and I want to cook it? and I don't know how to cook, so I will buy a cookbook. Ne?
Okay, you understand.
Let me
I
finish the
understand
argument.
you.
Let
I
me finish
understand
the
you.
argument. I will buy a cookbook, how to cook meat. Ne? I will not buy a book how to repair refrigerators. It will not help me to cook my meat. And if you come and say, well, you don't know about how to repair refrigerators, you don't want to listen to me, I will tell you how to repair refrigerators. And I stand in the kitchen and say, no, I don't care about your refrigerator book, because I have to cook the meat. And then I need a cookbook. And this is a philosophical book by Nietzsche, zum Beispiel the Antichrist. If you want to talk about religions, yeah? Or the genealogy of morals, okay? And this is a book that helps you to understand all religions, and how they became, and how they were interpreted, and how it is a fiction, okay, fairy tale, okay.
Okay. So
you understand?
You like science, you like medicine, you like the proofs. The proof is also by fasting. That fasting is very healthy for your body.
Well, what does it have to do with Islam?
Huh? But it has connection with the healthy of your body for health.
Yeah, but it does not have any connection to religion. Many people can do fasting without believing in anything.
It came from religion to fast. It didn't came from the science to fast. From the religion it came to fast.
No, I would not say so. There are many medical people today.
You say you would not say so. It's your opinion, but it was like that. Only from the religious things came this fasting, not from the other science things.
There was no science at that time.
Of course, religion was in time for religion started then.
Science was later, because most the people in old times, they were children, they were dreaming, or they didn't control what they say.
Understand. So it came from the religion, the fasting, and later science confirmed that fasting is healthy for your heart, for your body.
But
for
also very many thousands of years before science, people were sailing ships, ne? When they put the sails up and the wind pushed them, and they did it. And later, much later, came the science of wind power, of a transfer of power of wind to the sails, and how wind arises, and what are the directions. It does not mean that
they didn't know everything.
The people who sailed thousands of years ago, they did not force it on science, that science will develop the science of power transfer from wind to sails and so on. So this is not a logical argument. If something exists, something happens and has its origin in religion, it does not mean that this religious belief has a monopoly on that. Very many people on some other part of the planet, in some other culture, may have come to the conclusion that not eating when you are ill, or if there is some strange disease, is helpful because it cleans your organism, no? Okay? And many scientists today who are absolutely without any religion, just by basically watching the metabolism, say, okay, it is good to clean it for once in a year or something like that. They have no religious information. So this is a method of picking something which is functioning, and they say, oh, the origin is the only true. Okay. No. It just happens that it was a good solution, and mainly because in the Sahara region, in the warm region of Arabia, if you don't cool the meat properly, it will get poisonous, né? And worms will come. So from time to time, not to eat at all was a good thing. Maybe it was energy saving. They didn't have to kill animals because they didn't have to store the meat. Okay, so it was some geographical and climatic influence that enforced this practice of not eating meat for 1 month, because it will save energy. No?
Okay, the question. Now, if you are a scientist, you made and the engine for a car,
Mm.
and you are a producer, what kind of best thing for the renovation of that engine will be if you have suggested instructions for that engine, because you are a producer of that motor, that car. The best thing.
Why this jump from religion to...
Wait. Don't ask me now. Ask me the question. It means normally you will suggest big großes Service, kleines Service, big service close, to change the fuel, to change everything, right? To change everything, to clean it.
Okay, this is...
And you know what I'm talking about. If we believe in that creator who created us, he knows his product, our body, he created us. And he gives you the instructions how to clean your body, your engine, with fasting, for example. I'm just giving you the opinion, the question about to think about it. What
okay, this is again in philosophy an unacceptable way of argument.
There is always in philosophy unacceptable way of argument to defend their views.
This is what I told you at the beginning of the discussions, the logical propaedeutics. You must learn first what are the logical arguments. You cannot talk about religion or art or philosophy and they say, but now if you repair cars and there is some rule that if somebody produces the car and then so and so and how it is being to be repaired and
instructions about it.
And instruction, and because of the fact that it functions in the realm of cars, it must be true in the realm of creation. No, it is from the beginning. A philosopher might say, I am not listening, because it is an unacceptable argument, because you are taking apples and comparing them with airplanes. You are taking religions and philosophies and you compare them with automobiles. And the what's so-called analogy, which you are using, is completely wrong.
Okay,
and the result will be completely wrong. So why do you lose time to listen?
But those who believe, they will say completely another thing against philosopher. You are running away of the acceptance of the existence of your creator. You don't want to accept it.
This is
Fuck off. That's it.
That is an argument for the church. That's why I ask you all the time, do you want to talk with people in the church? Then go there.
Not with the church. Church is nothing for me. I am above from the church.
Okay, then you want to go to talk about believers.
Church is evil.
Okay, so but if you want to talk with believers, then talk with believers and don't talk with philosophers.
But that is very. But with believers, you can talk about the same thing. We agree with everything. But it's interesting. It is interesting to discuss with philosophers, because philosophers will run away from that.
And then you must not protest if philosophers tell you that your thinking is bullshit.
No, I will not protest, but that I'm just giving you the question if you will think about it.
I think and I immediately recognize it as bullshit.
Okay, that's your acceptance. This is only discussed as a record in our history that we talk one day about this, and you will remember that day.
And we should put it online so that other people who have not the chance to discuss religion with philosophers, that they can follow the arguments.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to tell you that me and Pavel, we are the very good friends. We are sharing the opinions. We are not here in conflict to be enemies. This is a good discuss, sharing opinions, questions.
We agree in the realm of sport. Tennis, we are the expert in Roger Federer techniques, and then I say Semir is better because he spent more time studying Roger Federer motion, but I am a physiotherapist and I know the analytical approach to motion analysis, so I can see that what he is pointing out.
And I learned many things from him.
We have learned that what he is just by imitating, by trying and discovering, I can describe it in scientific terms of the mechanic motion, of the functional analysis of motion, is it called in physiotherapy. So there we agree, but this is the realm where, the mistakes are immediately to be seen. If you don't do the backhand drive properly, 90 degrees, starting a difficult backhand, running to the baseline, and then going down with the racket, and you play with shoulders finishing at 90 degrees and no more, then you make a mistake and it is either out or in the net, okay? And then there is no discussion, because this is one realm, one domain, the same kind of category, as philosophers say. A theory of functional motion and the Roger Federer analysis is the same. It is like talking about sheep and goats. Ne? How do they live? That is the same word. But if you bring religion to tennis and say, you have to believe in the God of tennis.
They said if the tennis is religion, Roger Federer will be God.
He would be God. And I have an article which you can listen to on YouTube, where it's called "Why is Roger Federer an analogon of a Greek god?" I have it on YouTube, because he is, in a certain sense, the continuation of the ideal that Greeks had in the old times when they talk about the Olympic gods. That's why people are sitting on the tribunes when he plays Wimbledon or stuff like that. They are like worshippers. There are thousands of them, and they admire him, né? Because he is perfect in motion, né? And he is the winner. And this was the same what Greek people believed about their gods. So this is it, the analogon, okay? But it's only possible because Greek gods were depicted like strong, harmonious men and women, okay, with human bodies, and they had human emotions, and they were, taking part in quarrels, and so it was, and they were going down even from Olympus to love human women and human men. Okay, so that's why Roger Federer is the analogon, functional analogon and spiritual analogon of a Greek god. Okay?
Thank you.